For weeks, Northern Territory emergency workers have been battling an outbreak of fire across hundreds of kilometres of Central Australia. While many of the fires have been caused by lightning strikes, authorities say some have been deliberately lit. Reinforcements have been brought in from interstate, with fire crews from South Australia travelling to the Territory to lend a hand. I spoke with the Regional Controller of the Counter Disaster Committee, Michael White, earlier today about just how bad the fires are. Acting Commander Michael White, welcome to the program.
Good evening.
Just how bad are the fires in Central Australia at the moment?
Look, we've had unprecedented fires across Central Australia over the last 6 weeks. It's been a very long-term event. Interestingly, over the last for the same period last year, they had 72 call-outs for fires by the fire service. This year we've had nearly 400, so it's a significant increase, unprecedented experience down here this year.
You flew over the fires yesterday. Tell us what you saw.
It was an experience, certainly. I didn't really get a full appreciation of the fires just looking at them on maps. Flying over yesterday, you could see how vast the area is, and the significant loss of country to pastoralists and obviously into traditional lands from Indigenous people, and also, international parks. One of the big things is that it's such a vast area of the Northern Territory, and many fires are in hospital country, and it's very difficult to get in there and deal with them at earlier stages.
How are these fires starting? Are they being deliberately lit?
Look, there's certainly some of these fires have started by this week. We've had fires that have started during a storm that blew in through the south of Yalara that caused at least 3 or 4 fires we're aware of through lightning strikes. And also there have been reports of fires that have been lit over time.
How are your investigations going into those fires that have been deliberately lit?
Certainly we have made a number of arrests during the time. This week we arrested a man in Amampa for lighting a fire, and also a woman in Alice Springs for lighting a fire in the industrial area in some vacant land.
The fires have been burning for weeks. What's it been like for the crews on the ground?
It's been a massive exercise. The reason we really came together and formed an emergency operations centre was because of the extent of the fires, the number of people involved, and also the resources that we had were completely stretched. We had 18 people from South Australia come up. They brought 4 3,000 litre tankers and their crews, plus a command team, as well as some incident management staff who are providing valuable assistance to our resources here.
Many of these fires are a long way from Alice Springs. Have lives been endangered? What about people travelling on the roads?
Look, we've had to, obviously, over this week particularly, had to shut the Luritja Road, the Ernest Giles Road, and obviously other roads around the Fink area. That had obviously put people at risk at times, the fires. So we've had to secure the roads to prevent people travelling through the risky areas because we were fearful of their safety. The most appropriate action was to close the roads and keep people in one place so we could be sure they were safe, and also allow us to do our duties in the fire grounds without any risk to the public.
Have tourists visiting the area been cooperative?
At Kings Creek yesterday, we had a good community meeting with all the people that had been there for the last few days with the road closure, and they were very thankful that we opened the road yesterday, but we're appreciative of all the work that we've done across the agencies to protect them and protect the country.
Are the fires having any impact on transport services in and out of Alice Springs?
Fortunately, the airport never was closed due to the fire, the smoke haze. There was some restrictions on flights in and out of Alice Springs, but nothing commercial. The big area that we had some concerns with was the fires that were burning down the railway corridor. That held up a couple of freight trains and also the GAN. That now is fully operational again, and the railway corridor is open.
There's been a fire at the Alice Springs tip. I understand that's now under control.
Yeah, that fire is now fully out. It started a couple of weeks ago and it did cause some concern because it was in the refuse area where the recycling of mulch is. So that fire was very intensive and hot, but obviously contained within the tip area.
There's been a lot of smoke around Alice Springs from the fires. Has there been any impact on people's health?
Look, I understand there has been some impact. Certainly the Department of Health has put out a lot of warnings, and we've also put warnings out to people who have ongoing health conditions that is affected by their breathing. And as a result of that, we've all asked people to remain indoors and also restrict travel to only essential travel to ensure that their health is maintained.
Looking ahead, what are you expecting in the coming days?
We've got 8 main areas where fires are burning. Generally those fires are now under control, and we're continuing to manage them by ensuring that we have appropriate containment lines in to ensure that we can keep them within the fire ground that it currently exists.
Acting Commander Michael White, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.